What is going on, everybody? I'm going to talk to you today about long-term look on yield max and how I am going to mitigate the risk on yield max in my accounts going forward. And I'm talking a longer-term time horizon, not just 6 months or a year or 2 years. I'm talking possibly 5 to 10, 15-year time horizon, just kind of my thoughts on it. This is Mike, the Tactical Stock Scalper. All right. Well, yield max has been great for me. Matter of fact, it's surpassed my expectations on what these funds can do. And that's obviously due to the market continuing to rise, helping the majority of these funds rip up. And that's been great. However, I want to talk about a longer term time horizon. Okay, I'm talking many years down the road. You know, what I kind of foresee happening to yield max when market corrections happen. When, not if, when they happen. And if we get multiple down years in a row. Well, that's going to cause multiple reverse splits in different stocks. And I know this is kind of taboo in the yield max community, you know, to say these things, but multiple reverse splits are going to hurt. That's just the bottom line. I don't care how you cut it, right? What you say, it's going to hurt. So how am I going to mitigate this? Well, I'm going to continue to hold these funds until I feel they're no longer viable for my wife and I. Right? Because we'll be living off these funds in retirement and living off dividends in retirement. So if you watch my content of late, you know I'm kind of getting back into trading a little heavier, and I'm taking the profits, well, we're calling it free money, just for the simple fact that it makes people mad. So we're going to be taking the free money from trades, and I've been putting them currently into SQY. Well, we're going to do a shift in my account. Okay, we're going to be allocating very soon, as soon as we get back from the holiday break or whatever, and doing other trades. And I'm going to be putting the money into safer funds, and what I consider safer. Okay, everyone's opinion of safer is different. So safer for me is something like JEPQ. I think that's definitely safe, comparatively speaking, to a lot of yield max funds. I'll be putting in things like SVOL, which I consider way safer than some of the yield max funds, because SVOL has gone through some down periods and recovered really well. We have some history, right, to fall back on. Also, I've been thinking a lot about SCHD, and almost Citizen of the Year did a video on this, and it just like the timing for me was really good. The only issue with SCHD, and someone at my point of life, the 4% and trying to live off that can be problematic, because it's just not a lot. You have to buy a ton of it. But I love the stability of it. So not only will I be getting SCHD for free from trading profits, those dividends will be free. Now, it's only going to be what they pay, like 4 or 5%, something like that, whatever. So it's actually going to be a smaller point in my portfolio. But I think it makes sense. But I still, because we have to live off the dividends, the yield has to be higher, right? So we will be doing JEPQ, SVOL, SPY-T, QQQT, things like that, right? We're going to be buying these funds with the 20-ish% yield. And I think that's sustainable even during down market periods. And I'm talking longer time horizon here. So I think that's the way that we are going to morph our portfolio over the next few months. And if the food business doesn't pay me enough this year, which I don't know until the fall comes through, because that's really our busiest season with high school football and all the fall events, that'll really tell us if we can retire this year or not. And if I don't, well, then we'll work another year, and then we'll be done for sure. But regardless, we're going to be allocating more and more towards the safer funds and kind of scaling back the yield max a tad. Because I can kind of see what a down year 2 or 3 could possibly happen to these funds. And I know people don't like to look long term and think about the possible negative and risk associated with yield max. And guys, you have to. I think I have to. Let me put it this way. I have to think about that because I got to take care of my wife. And what happens if I die and yield max goes through multiple different funds, go through multiple reverse splits, and her shares continue to decline, right? And the dividends continue to decline because you have less shares over time. And then what happens, right? Do I think they'll go to zero? Well, absolutely not. But if you reverse split multiple times and you're not putting your own money back in there and you're trying to live off dividends, that is seriously problematic. And for us, for me and my accounts only, and for the protection of my wife, because I think I'm going to die before my wife, right? So with that being said, I have to take care of her. And so that means, what does that mean? Buying safer funds that have a longer term time horizon, that have been through market cycles, that have proven that they can rebound. Now, there's nothing wrong with yield max. It has been phenomenal. Like I said, it's better than I expected currently, right? Way better. A lot of these funds, way better. But I got to take care of my wife, my friends, right? So in order to do that, I got to buy the safer funds going forward. So I'm going to continue building up my yield max, just not at the rapid rate I'm doing it now. We're going to be buying more safer funds, more stability. Now, I really like JEPQ. I really do. I love it. And no, it hasn't been around as long as something like SCHD. And some people may say, Mike, even a 20%, or what are they paying? 10%? I don't even know off the top of my head what they're paying. But regardless, it's still going to be safer because they don't pay as high. They'll be able to control their share price a lot better, right? So for me, that's really important, that she can pull the dividends for free and the NAV will stay somewhat stable depending upon market conditions. And I keep saying free because I'm going to be taking profits and trading profits. That's not money out of pocket to build up my SCHD, the JEPQ, the FEPI, the SPY-T, things like that. So, you know, I'm in this crossroads where I gotta have something I consider semi-aggressive, like the FEPIs of the world, right? We'll just lump them together, of that kind of 20%-ish yield. And some people may argue and say that's too risky. Well, guys, I'm old, right? And I haven't treated my body the best through all these years. So, and you know, whatever. I got my time horizon is much smaller than a lot of people. So I'm okay with that kind of risk. I think I'm going to use the yield max continuing going forward to continue to boost the account. And as long as yield max is doing great, right? I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll continue to do great for the next 10 years, and this will absolutely mean nothing. But I don't know if I can see that, boys. Without multiple reverse splits, I think that's going to happen. I think it's inevitable. And if you're trying to live off dividends, the reverse splits are problematic. They are. That's just it. It is. Because you're not putting money back into it, right? You're just constantly pulling the dividends. And that's the hope, that's the dream, is to live off dividends. And I know, you know, I'm going to have to reallocate some. I get it. And we're just going to have to see how the plan goes going forward. I can't predict the future, but I do know the market will correct. I do know there'll be years where the market will be down, and I have to protect myself and my wife going forward. So that's kind of my long-term horizon outlook and thoughts. I hope you enjoyed it. This is Mike, the Tactical Stock Scalper, out.